This is the Roller Coaster Podcast, and I'm your host, Lucie Q. Life is a wild ride. It has twists and turns. It's scary, exciting, and downright fun. So throw your head back, arms in the air, and come along with me for the ride.
Life is like a roller coaster, baby, baby. I wanna ride.
Okay, before we get started, check out nectargrowth.com. nectargrowth.com. It's free to join, but not for long. Nectar is an extension of the roller coaster. It's where you can start your own journey of self-exploration and growth. In Nectar, you'll find different topics of interest, daily blogs, affirmations, journal prompts, and you can connect with some of the fantastic coaches that have been on the roller coaster. Soon, we'll be adding videos, meditations, live discussions, and events. Our signature course is a journey of self-improvement, and it's valued at $397. But once you join, it's available to you at no cost. So if you're feeling stuck, if you feel like you need to change and not sure where to start with Nectar Growth Network. Come join us. You know you're worth it. Now, let's get on with today's show.
Ride.
I remember when I was about 15 years old, my parents brought us a Nintendo. Now, I was never big on video games. My first introduction to them was a game called Pong on an old black and white TV. Not that it mattered much because Pong was pretty basic. I'd also tried playing Miss Pac-Man at the Towers department store at Hazeldean Mall, but that was really it. So getting an actual video game unit in our house was a big deal for us. I think it came with a couple of games, but we'd also gotten a game called Castlevania. Didn't take me long to learn that, well, I pretty much sucked at it. What I do remember was on the rare occasion where I actually managed to pass a level, it usually came after hours of playing, being frustrated, trying to figure out all of the pieces. But that feeling of frustration would dissolve instantly the second that I realized that I had cleared the level. The exhilaration would send excited shockwaves through me. Yes, I did it. I'm a badass. Well, not really, because ultimately, I still sucked at video games. But that feeling of excitement, that exhilaration, that's what I've been feeling for the past week. I feel like I've conquered another level. If you caught episode 141, Two Wolves, I shared how I was taking a 3-part course with Jill Coit, Start Thriving, which focused on reconnecting to your true self. Part of this course involved diving in and exploring how we were feeling. At the end of the second online session, I shared with Jill that I was feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. Jill did what any good coach would do and pushed me to explore those feelings. I went on to explain that I was frustrated because I felt like I was missing a key piece to a puzzle. I felt like everyone had the answer, but me. Jill urged me to stay curious and to dive in deeper. Well, for me, I found that answers come when I'm not focusing on the problem at hand. And in any case, I had a busy evening ahead with several guest interviews, and my attention was quickly diverted to my tasks at hand. And, as fate would have it, I was chatting with Adora Winquist. She's going to be on episode 183. And Adora is an intuitive, a modern alchemist, and an explorer of the Akashic records. As I do whenever I chat with an intuitive, I gave Adora permission to share any messages that she may receive from Spirit. After we wrapped up our chat and stopped recording, Adora looked at me and asked, Are you working on a big project or have a big idea? I reluctantly said yes, because I kind of knew where this was going. Adora went on to share that Spirit was saying that I needed to believe in myself. I heard those words before, not so long ago, from Michelle Kennedy, episode 149, who had also shared that Spirit wanting me to believe in myself. It's something that I've been struggling with for a while, ever since the idea of nectar first came to mind. The idea of nectar felt so big, bigger than me, and who was I to take on something that big? It was Christine Bizier, episode 24, that had challenged me to ask, why not you? Christine's words had given me courage, and I pushed forward with building Nectar. Her words helped me take the focus off of why me by taking action. All of these conversations were swirling around in my head as I wrapped up recording for the evening and started putting around getting ready for bed. The frustration was still lingering, and I reflected on my conversation earlier with Jill, who had also pointed out that actions get things done, they move things forward. But what I hadn't done was taking the time to feel. I had pushed aside my feelings, never exploring why I felt that nectar was an idea bigger than me. To sum it up, I didn't feel good enough or smart enough to turn an idea into reality. I didn't believe in myself. That missing piece of the puzzle that had caused me so much frustration was suddenly revealed. The missing piece was belief in myself. It was then that I realized that I had cleared a new level. Those feelings of exhilaration that I had experienced on those rare occasions when I beat a level in Castlevania, well, those all came rushing through my body. The next morning, I embarked on a marathon journaling session where I explored my feelings around self-worth, or lack thereof. I wrote feverishly about everything that I could remember about not feeling like I was enough. But I didn't stop there. I looked into the stories of my parents and grandparents. I explored how a lack of self-worth may have influenced my family and unwittingly passed on to me. I explored my ancestral pain and trauma. When I finally put my pen down, I felt lighter, calmer, and at peace. Those stories, they were what I was carrying around with me. They're what I call that emotional baggage. That's what I started calling my grief case. My grief case was weighed down further by the stories that I continued to tell myself about why I wasn't good enough. It held every failure, mistake, and incident of poor judgment. I dragged that grief case around for years, and it held me back from so many things. The pain had seeped into every corner of my life. What hurt the most was understanding that carrying it around was my choice. Whether I liked it or not, I chose to pick up that bag and carry it around. But if I chose to pick it up, then I can also choose to put it down. So I decided to forever put down my grief case and instead to pick up my belief case. I released all of the hurt and pain, and I released the feelings of lack. My self-worth doesn't come from anyone else. It comes from within me and the stories that I tell myself. I choose which bag I carry and which one I put down. Which case are you carrying around? Are you choosing to carry your own grief case? I urge you to get curious. Explore why you feel what you feel. Choose to pick up your belief case. Thank you for inviting me to join you today. Coming up next week, we have episode 152 with Patricia Lindner, who is a human design specialist. Episode 153 with Tracy Lamourie and the power of self-belief. Episode 154 is Janice Moran's, where we chat about weight loss after 40. Episode 155, Matt Zinman, who shares happierness. And again on Friday, I'll be joining you once again. Remember, your support of the roller coaster is always appreciated. If you can, leave a rating or review. It will help me reach more people. And share this episode and Nectar with your friends and family. All the links are in the show notes. I'm also working on the 200th episode of the roller coaster, which will be a live event that will be held on the Nectar platform. You're not going to want to miss this party because we're going to have some of your favorite coaches there to chat, and I'm sure we're going to have a few prizes. Oh, and I'm working on a special gift for anyone that joins us live. And the only way to get on the fun is by joining Nectar. So until next time, I'm sending you my virtually distant hugs. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Roller Coaster Podcast. Want to chat or share your ideas about today's show? Pop me an email at hello@therollercoasterpodcast.com. Don't forget to connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at The Roller Coaster Podcast. Our theme song, Roller Coaster, was performed by The Lucky Setback. Audio editing by the one and only Jeff Quigley of Quigley Creator.
Loud